Good morning, my friends, and a very happy Tuesday to all y'all. So, let's get down to it, right? What are you up to? What is the fellowship? What is the goal to open the keys of power, right? What are the gates of power? How do you use power? What is this concept of power, right? So, as a business owner, you have the means by which you change the lives of others through selling them your services, your wares, your widgets, whatever it is, right? And as you are using these techniques, as you are using your business to influence the lives of other people around you, that's power. But what do you mean by influence? Well, I mean decision making. If you have an ethical offer that is so great, so deep that they can't refuse you, then you have the means by which you can serve them. And through that service, you have a connection that goes beyond monetary interaction. It becomes a stewardship, it becomes a relationship. So you serve them, their product, your product and service does what it needs to in that moment. Next, what do they keep coming back to you for? Well, do they come back to you for something else? Do they come back to you for your business? Do they come back to you for your your coaching program? Do they come back to you for your consultations? Do they come back to you for deeper techniques on what your spiritual practices are, so that way they can kind of follow along, right? Now, when you're in the path of unity and you're actually in unity with your purpose, you'll sleep less and you'll be able to do more. Time will seemingly compress, so that when you're in flow state, what happens to you for an hour or maybe two, you crank out so much material that it's only been a couple hours. Like, that's power. That's what it means to be in state. That's what it means to be in a workflow environment, right? That's a literal state of being. It's not an intangible esoteric concept. So to tap into flow, you have to understand the foundations of what flow represents. Flow is your connection to your congruency, meaning what you are on your very, very root level of personality. Who you are, what you do, why you do it, right? How you help people, how you serve people, how your thing helps change them. That's how you engage in flow. So whatever you're doing and how it serves others is how that works in that relationship. So that's building out what that technique does. As it applies to business, as it applies to your personal growth, when you're going through those hard moments, when you're going through those periods of, oh shit, my life is falling apart, or oh shit, these are the worst periods of my life, you're dredging those power points up. You're pulling the energy back into yourself. It's called recapitulation. You're taking out the energy of pain and you're recalling it to yourself. You're bringing back who you are. And you're bringing people back to a moment. So when working in this case with the challenge that I've just been working on this week, which is the techniques of necromancy, right? I connected to the dead using a very personal relationship with the dead. Like, I was raped in a cemetery in the spot of power during my ritual work, like where I was doing all of those things connecting to the other world, which in ancient magic, in ancient initiation rites, that's the goetic initiation. That is, you're by the graveside, you're wailing, you're connecting to the dead. It is a visceral, not fun experience. But there's power there. It allows you to connect with the dead or the natural world in a way, at least for me, in a way that's unlike anything else. So, for me and what I'm able to do when I'm connecting to people's past, or when I'm connecting to the environment of the genus Loki, or the Anima Mundi, which is the spirit of the land, or the spirit of the world, right? And I'm working with these things in these complex emotional situations, doing an exorcism for somebody, because using and applying faith, using and applying these methods, they're tangible energies. You can feel them. They'll make your hair stand on end. They'll make the EVP meters go off if you're using any of the paranormal investigation tools, right? So, like, these are legitimate things that have been dismissed by the masses because they don't understand there are those of us who can do these things. Not everybody can. Not everybody should. And that's perfectly fine. And that's how transformation happens, is how do you use that terrible experience that you went through, and how do you serve others with it? So I'm not sitting there focusing on, oh, I had this bad experience. No, like, that shit gives me the access to be able to work with the graveyards and the dead and places where people have died to help other spirits cross over easier. I can get that shit done faster than most folks can because of my experience. I can compress time. I can compress space in that moment, in that ritual chamber. And studying that allows me to apply it to business. And so using business as a framework, using that as an external force of you're not connecting it to your family, you're not connecting it to your friends, you're doing it in an external way so that way you can heal, you can pull yourself back to yourself, you can recapitulate yourself to the pain that you went through so that you can apply that power in a different way. You can serve somebody with your story, you can connect to somebody with your story. And by that connection, you can elevate them out of their darkness so that they have the means by which they can go and be a light to somebody else. So you go through it, you bring somebody else through it, they bring somebody else through it. Creates legacy, creates lineage. So these are the applications of the gates of power. And so this is what I invite you to do, is I invite you to comment, or just comment. What have you done that is so painful that you're afraid to face? But once you talk about it, once you share it, you've connected with somebody else. And through that connection, you can move mountains. Through that connection, you can reshape industries. So what are your personal experiences that not only make you an authority on what you're talking about, but make you that go-to person who's willing to share your experience, to connect with other people so that they can share their experience, so that it gives a voice to them and where they're at, so that you can help them with what you've been through. So that's what this is about. That's what business is. That's how you apply your business in a spiritual way. That's how you apply your purpose in a spiritual way. So your business and your purpose and your unity is all in congruency, so that your flow states, when you're in the state to fix something, you know exactly what you're doing because that's exactly what you've been doing. It's just this time you're taking it and you're sharing it with someone else. You're taking it to that next step of development, your next step of service. And then after that, you create clients. After that, you create flow. You create income for those that want to join you on that journey. They can pay you to go deeper with you, to go into your coaching programs deeper, into your mentorship programs deeper. So that way, as you walk through that point of power, you're recalling to yourself who you were. I have become through becoming, and by becoming I became. It is an invocation. It is a literal transformation of who you are and who you have been, so that you can help other people to do that very same thing. So, thoughts for today. Anyway, stay safe, folks. And I'm curious about what you guys are up to. So, comment below. Let's chat.